Let's have a quick look at today's top trending topics online. There's an interesting consumer story, actually. Ofcom are looking at banning phone and broadband companies from inflationary price hikes mid-contract. They want companies to outline customers up front whether they'll face any price rises. I mean, this is something that I know quite a lot of consumer companies have been looking into. The idea that you get advertised a great deal, let's say £20 a month for unlimited fibre, full, fast, broadband, and you budget for that. You go, right, £20 a month. This is how much it's going to cost me a year. And mid-contract, it's like, oh, yeah, no, we've put that up to 23 or 24.
I agree. I think that the way that these contracts are put together, the fact that you've got to stick to them, particularly if you buy, for example, the mobile device with it, and I've actually moved away from that on the basis that I think in a higher interest rate environment, they're extracting the Michael in terms of what they're charging. But I also think that the way telephone companies, broadband companies, they can put up your price mid-contract. But it's also not just by inflation, it's inflation plus, and sometimes it's 2, 3, 4%, which I think, again, is a disgrace. And it shows the lack of power by the regulator, and also the fact that what it then leads to is this weird situation that you as a customer do not get rewarded for loyalty. You get punished for staying with a company, and then you have to do all this shopping around and all this, waste. I want to stay with one provider and just be done with it, and I want to get the best deal. I think this allows companies to take more money from us, and I don't think that it's a well-regulated piece of, how we are looked after.
And again, a situation where a consumer enters a contract and the company's got all the power in that contract and consumer has virtually no power in that contract.
Correct, and the contracts are extremely long. Nobody reads them, and they're a complete... they are, as you say, very one-sided.
Yeah. Emily, Keir Starmer has been giving a speech today because, may I remind people, today... 4 years ago now today, we all went to the polls in the 2019 election. Yes. It was Boris Johnson versus Jeremy Corbyn.
December election. Who knew that a PM would ever want to call that? And of course, obviously, Johnson did a lot better.
OK. Well, Sir Keir Starmer has been giving a speech today. He was promising to end Conservative psychodrama and return the government to the mundane stuff. Here's him having his speech today.
I'm afraid the circus is back in Westminster again today. It's not just politics, is it? It's the whole country. We're all stuck in their psychodrama, all being dragged down to their level, while they're swanning around self-importantly with their factions and their star chambers, fighting like rats in a sack. There's a country out here that isn't being governed.
There we go. You have to stand in front of a truck or a big piece of machinery to give that kind of speech. Emily, what else was he saying?
Well, I was kind of sort of looking at him thinking, not listening to what he was saying, but actually thinking, what is he standing in front of? I mean, is anyone listening to Keir Starmer? That is the question of our times. Because still, I don't feel that we really know what he's standing for. Of course, as the leader of the opposition, he has to make a speech today and says, psychodrama, Conservatives, what are they all going on about? Why are we wasting this money about Rwanda? Vote Labour. Because, we are in the window now of a next general election. I think the latest it can be called is January 2025, and we expect
latest we can go to the polls is January 2025.
Yes, not to be called, you're absolutely right. And we expect the next election, possibly Sunak, to organise it for autumn next year. So, yes, Starmer has to set out his stall. But again, I mean, I don't really feel that he's telling me what Labour are standing for in terms of their migration or immigration policy. Yes, he said that they have to get tough on the illegal gangmasters, as we said before, but he hasn't laid out how. He said the why, but not the how.
This is the difference between him and Tony Blair. Tony Blair had a manifesto and a way forward and a very clear narrative. Keir Starmer, of course, he's just, I'm not the Conservative Party, which is all very well in a period of opposition. But come the election, he's going to have to have some meat on the bones, and there is none.
Or perhaps that is going to be enough. We are not the other guys, and we're going to return to what he said today, the mundane stuff of government.